Walk on. Stop right there. I'm the big deal in this town, alright? You'd best quit right now or things gonna get real bad for you.
Sorry, partner. Can't let you do that. I got a job to do.
Then you gonna die. Every generation loves the Western. When I was growing up, it was Red Dead Redemption and Fallout New Vegas. When my parents were growing up, it was Clint Eastwood and John Wayne. When their parents were growing up, it was pulp magazines and talking pictures. Most people believe this to be the world's first Western, The Great Train Robbery, produced for Thomas Edison's film company in 1903. But this is actually the world's first Western, made in Britain in 1899. Why would Britain make a Western? Well, that's what we're about to find out, and it tells us a lot about society at the time. But first, I need to cross the Pennines and go into Lancashire. The earliest known Western film was made in Blackburn, Lancashire in 1899. To find out why people in the north of England would want to make this film, we first need to understand the Victorian fascination with the Wild West, because they absolutely loved it. To the Victorians, the Wild West was this strange, exciting new frontier, filled with thrilling gunfights, heroic battles, and the expansion of civilization. Of course, this is just their view of things, quite divorced from reality, because they got this impression second or third hand, from the travelling shows which they flocked to see. Seeking to expand into a new and profitable market, Buffalo Bill's Wild West show toured Europe 8 times between 1887 and 1906. In London alone, they gave 300 performances, including to Queen Victoria, and sold 2.5 million tickets. These shows contained skilled horse riding and sharpshooting demonstrations, and reenactments of key events in recent history. As expected, these shows depicted Native Americans largely negatively. A reenactment of the Little Bighorn featured Bill avenging the dead Custer by killing and scalping the Cheyenne warrior Yellowhair. The grand finale of the show was a battle in which Bill and his men repelled an attack on a settler cabin by natives. In these shows, the Native Americans were always portrayed as the aggressors. This is important because these shows influenced how the public viewed the American frontier. The real American West was always very distant, both literally but also in the public imagination. Just as big Hollywood blockbusters today inform our view of the past and the world around us, regardless of how accurate they are, these travelling shows, along with the newspapers, books and art of the day, were the main ways that British people learnt about the settlers and natives of the West. But there was another reason why, particularly in the north of England, people were interested in cowboys. Cotton. Britain was at the centre of the industrial textile revolution. A series of inventions transformed the way fabrics were made, with production becoming bigger, faster and easier than ever before. It's estimated that by 1871, Britain was producing a third of all the cotton products in the world. Much of this was concentrated in the north of England. Unsurprisingly, most of the raw cotton came from the southern United States. So dependent was this area on imported cotton that, during the American Civil War in the 1860s, there was an economic recession due to the blockade on cotton exports. Blackburn and the rest of the textile-producing towns in the north had a close relationship with the southern United States. Many businessmen may have travelled there after the end of the war and, seeing for themselves the real America, brought back home with them stories and souvenirs of cowboys and Indians, thus deepening the local interest in them. Right, Horsey, let's have a look at the world's first Western film. To the Victorians, the American frontier was a reminder of their own pre-industrial past. At a time when much of the common countryside in Britain had been enclosed in private estates and thousands of people driven into dirty, overcrowded cities, the American West represented a simple world of individual freedom. Capitalising on this was the Mitchell & Kenyon Film Company, founded in Blackburn in 1897. Just 9 years previously, in 1888, Louis Le Prince had taken the world's first moving pictures in Leeds. You can find out all about that in my video. Mitchell & Kenyon's slogan was "Local films for local people." Seriously, and they produced everything from sport and daily life scenes to crime reconstructions. Much of this material, including Kidnapping by Indians, was only discovered in 1994 and remains one of the largest and most important collections of early film in the world. They also produced reenactments of real events, such as battles in the Boer War and Boxer Rebellion, which were played to wowed crowds at fun fairs and music halls. We don't know exactly why Kidnapping by Indians was made, but the makers clearly knew that the public had an appetite for the Wild West. This 2-minute silent film, shot locally, depicts the kidnapping of a white woman by Native Americans. This is a key theme in a lot of Western media, such as The Searchers and Last of the Mohicans, and reflects society's racial anxiety at the time. We can see that the makers of this film were echoing the depictions of Native Americans that they saw in the Wild West shows and pop culture of their day. The performances in this film don't win any Oscars, and it might be uncomfortable for us to watch today, but it's still hugely important for a number of reasons. Not only is it the world's first Western, kick-starting a whole genre, but it opens a window into our understanding of how the American West was viewed in the past, and how film is always a reflection of the people who make it. So that's how it is. You've been disrespecting my boy.
Merely pointing out the facts.
Can't take away the Western from us. We're the ones who made it what it is. You limeys never produced a good Western.
Well, hold on to that thought, partner, because in the next video we're gonna find out just how wrong you are.
Then you gon' die.
Somebody's going to be in big trouble if they don't like, subscribe, and share with all their rodeo buddies.
Rain on the wind and the weather, help and for leather, wishing my gal was by my side. All the things I'm missing, good bills, love and kissing, are waiting at the end of my ride. Move 'em on, hit 'em up, move 'em on.